You're only here because you're the best of the best.
Brace yourself.
Her phone really did die. I swear to God.
I promise it died. Like,
It died.
Look.
I swear to God.
Wait.
She ain't doing nothing.
Wait.
Nothing
Oh,
crazy.
Wait a minute. Hold on. It turned on.
Hold on. Let's see what's up.
I didn't know it was gonna turn on. I just tried like 2 seconds ago and it didn't work.
She been trying to text you, but
This is real time though. Like I'm figuring it out and it's not working. Oh, it's 9:23.
she really miss you for real.
I miss you so much, babe. Look.
Look,
What's that?
2%.
Baby,
We promise you.
Oh my God. Will you call me again, okay?
Keep your DMs and your secrets. Bye. Kiss goodbye, no?
Goodbye, farewell, sayonara. It really doesn't matter how you say it, it's just important that it's said. As I sit here, clips keep flooding in with men leaving in droves and women trying to justify why they can't find anyone with a wallet. It makes sense to take a look at what has changed and what has stayed the same, specifically when it comes to character. For men, there hasn't been a real change in that regard, and that's a good thing. We still want the same things, more often than not do the same things, and because of that, we expect the same things. And because men do what they do because they want what they want, no amount of manipulation is going to change that. But that doesn't keep these chicks from trying, and by God, do they try. From false positivity to justifying infidelity, it feels like the stats need to be updated. A 90% loss in quality seems to be more appropriate than the numbers we often share about the West. Before we go on with the video, let me share the comment of the day. Shout out to Bobby Wagner, who dropped some facts, saying women want the wedding, the attention, the gifts, the dress, but what they don't want is to be a wife. And that's all the modern woman wants, attention, but none of the wife duties. So thank you so much for dropping that comment, and please don't forget to reach out to my email to claim your $5. As always guys, I'll be picking one comment from each video. Could be the funniest, the most liked, or just one that speaks the most facts, so don't forget to leave a comment and you could be our very next winner. So be sure to hit that like and sub button too, as that helps out the channel so much, y'all. So now let's get right back into the video for you guys.
Embrace your masculinity.
She said she too young, don't want no man, so she gon' call her friends.
Hard to miss.
What would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 through 10?
A 10.
You think other people agree with that?
I don't care what other people think. Confidence is key, period.
Hey bro, what would you rate this girl on a scale of 1 through 10?
What the fuck? That look like a fucking lizard, man.
I think when it comes to modern women, lizard seems generally appropriate. It's true that men are naturally more about aesthetics when choosing a woman. That whole love at first sight thing is innately masculine, and for ages, women used to understand this and put it into practice. I occasionally look at commercials and ads during and before the 1950s where women would talk about how men prefer proper femininity. They'd share ways to compose oneself, their ideal weight, and proper hygiene. Now, feminists use this in Western classrooms to represent how society was lost. I remember the university years when I was forced, emphasis on forced, I did everything I could to dodge it, to attend a course whose sole purpose was to brainwash students into accepting the new status quo for progressives. They flipped on the projector and shared these ads where women were women, and they were enthusiastic about learning how to be the perfect wife. A little more than half the class would gasp every time there were fitness suggestions or when a well-dressed lady was asked to use less salt. Then, when the video stopped, the self-identified, gender-fluid professor got up and said that they had nothing to fear, that the image in the video was an unfortunate period in history, and that it's great that women don't have to abide by these norms anymore. Then I started to scan the room, and it looked more like a circus than anything else. Dozens of crazy piercings, wild face tattoos, large stomachs, challenging elastic waistbands, and an ocean of smelly multicolored hair as far as the eyes could see. All of them scowling at the image of a normal woman on the screen, wearing a sundress, serving the family breakfast. At least that's what I saw from all the women, the dramatic change of expectations.
I'm calling in about my boyfriend. He was in a major
accident recently with like this car, and like, you know, his body was like flailing around in the air and everything, and like he's okay, but it did kind of give me the ick.
Okay.
I'm out. Yep, I'm out.
All I want this summer is a man that has a job, works out, is a foodie, but also likes to have fun, lives a balanced lifestyle. So he works out and he does his job and he grinds, but he also likes to go on the weekends. He likes to party, he likes to travel. He would, on a Thursday, stay in and we could order food or make food together and just relax, watch Netflix, do absolutely nothing but hang out with each other. But then the following weekend, we go out, we party, we have fun. He randomly texts me on a Tuesday and he says, get changed, be ready by 8 because I have a date planned for us. I made the reservation and everything and I'll be picking you up right at 8, so be ready outside your apartment. Where is that man? Because I've been looking for a man for that for this summer and I can't find them. And there's a lot of men in New York, okay, and I can't find him. But I also want him to look at me every single day and think that he won the lottery with me. So let's add that in there.
Well, lady, that's not gonna ever happen. There are two major reasons. One, what you are describing sounds exhausting. No hardworking guy is going to do all of that and compromise their future. And two, that man that you're describing doesn't exist. Like I said, when I looked around the class and saw the women growing into a crazy hive mind, it was like they were all making up their minds to be a societal problem in a matter of minutes. But when I looked harder and focused in on all of the normal guys biding their time, there was no shift at all. In fact, you could hear many of them whispering about how they felt this woman with the apron and smile on screen was ideal. That's when it all hit me harder than the 90s movie propaganda, harder than the girl power nonsense, and harder than the marching you'd see on TV. Women had become victims of their own malleability and would do absolutely anything, including rejecting their own identity just to fit in, while men in no way felt inclined to drink the Kool-Aid. And that's one of the key differences between masculine men and impressionable women. It's why, no matter how much women push in the other direction, men will still stand still. We're built to maintain traditions because we are tradition. We won't give in to this desire for a status replacement because we know who we are. But that won't stop women from trying their best to change this.
Emotions can be used as manipulation. He brings up something that he wants to talk about. She cries because of what he said. And he said it nicely, but it's something they need to deal with. And she cries, and then he gets terrified. And so then he shuts down. And so really her crying is a manipulation. It's I don't want to hear anything that I'm, quote, doing wrong. Being a victim is actually a power position because you are making it impossible for anyone to deal with whatever is going on between the two of you.
You think I don't care?
You're just sitting there.
You know how bad this fucking feels? This is the worst feeling I could ever have.
Thank you for your service, bro. And someone needs to take that camera out of this chick's hand. That was dizzying. Anyway, like I said, women will do anything they can to get their way when a man does what men do best, remain constant. And at least from a biological perspective, they do have a few tools at their disposal, one of them being the crying tactic. See, there have been numerous studies involving lab-controlled competitions between women and men. What they found was that if a woman cried, the male would begin to soften up. In some cases, competitive and aggressive behavior went down by 44%. Now, in the past, it makes sense how this was an effective trait. The problem is, as many man guide commenters have stated in the past, women don't cry when cheating or manipulating. They cry when they get caught. Knowing this, the crocodile tears have become one of the most prevalent tactics women use to get what they want or seek sympathy. They'll do the Chad and Tyrone fun run only to performatively sob in the face of potential scrutiny or consequence. Because this is so effective, women did what women have been doing for the last 100 to 200 or even 300 years. They overplayed their hand, using this move whenever they didn't want to take responsibility. These days, we've adapted. We don't care if they cry or throw a tantrum. Many of us don't bat an eye at the behavior at all when we see it in daily life. Which brings us to another reason why women aren't winning like the feminist prophecy foretold.
Okay, here's a seat filler. Can we get you up, honey? You want to go to the bathroom? Okay. Let's just get you. Thank you, seat fillers. Love them. Jesse, I loved you in Power of the Dog.
You know that was my wife, eh?
You're married to that seat filler? Weird.
Gross. And you think you're masculine.
I mean, for a girl, like, I'm not as girly as girly girls. I'm not good at girl stuff.
That's what every girl says.
I mean, some girls say that. Some girls are good at it. You know, they can contour and, like, make themselves look like a completely different person. But I at least, like, look the same when I take my makeup off, so.
When you take your makeup off?
Mhm.
Okay, you look the same.
Pretty much the same.
What do you look like without glasses?
Like this.
Okay, all right.
Like, I can see less a little bit.
Okay, yeah, you definitely don't look
You look
Asian.
better. No, I'm just kidding. You look great.
That was a good one.
You look very
almost
tan.
got a laugh there. You got a oh, but it was close. At least it was some kind of a reaction.
Well, those were rough, but I need them to make the next point. When I say men stay real, and that's caused women to freak out, it not only has to do with the masculinity men carry, but the masculinity women continue to consciously or unconsciously achieve. I think comedy is a great example of that. For all of recorded history, men have always been pretty funny. We have Vikings roasting each other with runic symbols, crude cave drawings, the list goes on and on. It's one of the many things that makes masculinity fun. Life can be rough, and persuasion is a challenge, so it became a skill that many men just have genetically at this point. Then, feminists wanted a hand on that wheel, bringing people like Rosie O'Donnell, Whitney Cummings, and the ogre Amy Schumer up on the stage to show men that women are absolutely hilarious. The problem, though, they're not. They have no funny bone in their body. And you know why we know this? Because there are hundreds of dying feminist comedy clubs out there at this point. And if you try and name drop one of the open micers in public, nobody knows who you're talking about. The reason I bring this up is because, while men have had consistent logic across the board, female logic never makes it past the first hurdle. You can't be praised, but unfaithful. You can't act like a man and then expect guys to be affected anymore when you cry. It's why we really just don't care anymore, and why the progressive movement is falling apart at the seams.
Because I just feel like in a relationship, if you're not doing something right, and I keep on telling you, like, you're not doing this right, you're not doing this right, you're not doing this right, if you don't listen, I'm going to cheat on you because it's going to hurt my feelings to leave you alone. I can't leave you alone. I cannot leave you alone, so I'm going to cheat.
Nobody cares.
I hate to say this, but I think that women have to lower their standards. Before you go crazy on me, just hear me out. The amount of chronically single girlfriends that I know, either approaching their 30s or already in their 30s, that are like wanting to settle down and have a family, but can't, is an epidemic at this point. And we're talking about women that are financially stable, have educations, are beautiful, have their fathers in their lives, like come from nice families. Like, we're not talking about like a bum bitch. We're talking about like a very decent young lady. So I'll have conversations with my friends, and they'll say things like, oh, like, you know, I want him to make like at least $200,000 a year, like at minimum. He has to be in shape. Like, I really like a guy with a six-pack. I love a guy who's like 6'2". I need a guy with like a full head of hair. Like, I can't do bald guys. Every single time you throw a new specification into what you desire, the only person that fits within the parameters of what you are looking for exists in your fucking dreams. No, I've had girlfriends tell me like, oh my God, no, he's great, this and that, like, but I can't do a short king. So you're telling me you found a guy that's like not bad looking, has a great job with benefits, like financially stable, comes from a great family, and you can't do it because his legs aren't long enough? Like, you bitches are out of your minds.
Well, it took you guys 100 years to get close, but here we are. One of the things I've learned going through hundreds of articles, studies, and clips on the internet each day is that there's a bit of a civil war going on in the Western feminist community. You have chicks in the first clip jumping headfirst into the tired theme with a body count exceeding 300, and then you have the pick-me's and trads diving for the oven to make a pot roast, but burning it all because they got distracted by shorts and reels. Now they may be speaking on a different soapbox, but they share the same problems. They continue to change, while men keep doing their thing and stay the same. The latter camp is doing everything they can to get the men back. The desperation can be smelled from a mile away. The issue here is that they've walked way too far away for us to hear them. They're on a different planet at this point. And if theft ever wished to come back to where men are standing, they'd have to change the very fabric of who they are. They have to put on that apron in the 1950s instructional video. They would have to submit in reverence for what men contribute to civilization. They'd have to stop campaigning, regardless of the message, and pass the mic over so we can clean up the mess they started. But we don't want to clean their mess up. Why? Because the behavioral shift I described is an impossibility. Case and point.
You picked bear. Why is that?
Because in some cases, the bear can be safer than the man.
So, what do you think the chances are that the man would opt to victimize you?
I would say probably like 40%.
40%. I got a question. So, if we go to any zoo in the world that has a bear enclosure, why are none of the women jumping into the enclosure to escape from the men? If me and Nick were the two men here in the studio, if we just transformed into bears right now, do you guys think you'd be safer? If you were in a bathroom, would you rather a man or a bear wanders in? If there was a bear in your home, would you call the police or animal control? And a man would show up.
Potentially.
Yep. That's a good point. That's true.
All right. Anyways, moving on.
That's funny.
Case closed.
A man would show up to take the bear.
Stop talking.
Said, why is it that when you have that perfect person, why don't you
No
choose?
woman is perfect. Men don't claim to be perfect. Women do the majority of the breaking up. And whenever you ask a woman why she broke up with the man, who does she always blame? Him. So when the public finds out that a woman cheated on her man, they always support that and be like, well, why did she cheat? Women claim that they're perfect. When you just ask all you ladies, what did you do wrong in this relationship? And none of you guys said anything that you did anything wrong. Besides saying happy wife, happy life. So that pretty much means the man's happiness. Women do not take accountability most of the
And this is probably the greatest example of what I'm talking about here. With men remaining consistent, we never stop taking accountability for our actions. If the bridge collapses or fire rages, we try and discover the cause. If a platoon gets lost, the senior officer and their navigator takes the blame. Even in relationships, you will often see men describe their role in the dysfunction. Then, when you flip it, women are nowhere to be found, and for a minute, this got us in a lot of trouble. Why? Because accountability only flowed in one direction, and all of this peaked with the Me Too scandals around the pandemic. Men have taken a lot of hits and burns to remain masculine, and when women of the West were still part of the equation, many men took irrational and massive amounts of collateral damage just for being based. And here we are.
I can finally understand what men mean when they say they look for their 80%, meaning that if they meet a woman who meets 80% of what they're looking for, they'd be willing to build a life with her. Women, not so much. But the interesting thing about women is that we will go so hard to meet that 100% and we'll look for that extra 20%, 10%, whatever percent that's missing in men who do nothing but bring chaos into our lives.
It's always the same story with you, huh, pal? You did this one movie 100 years ago. From then on, you thought you were better than everybody else. Why don't you let go? Move on with your life. It's not about what happened in the past or what you think might happen in the future. It's about the ride, for Christ's sake. There's no point going through all this crap if you're not going to enjoy the ride. And you know what? When you least expect it, something great might come along. Something better than you even planned for. You were funny as hell playing those bagpipes, though. Did I ever tell you that?
I don't think I've ever heard you speak before, Mr. Pfeffer.
The scene is goofy, but the message is strong. Men, the best way to correct course is to actually stay exactly the way you are. Stay competitive, embrace aggression and channel it. Maintain traditional standards, and do everything in your power to maintain order in your own universe. Ignore the noise. Maybe modern women in the West want to change, or maybe they want you to accept the status quo they try to enforce. It really doesn't matter. What does matter is that you remain honest with yourself and the brothers around you that you respect. Stay real. Stay masculine. Stay right where you are, paving the way for generations of men that will be happy and proud that you did. It's as simple as that. No reason to complicate it. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.